Mr. Ruby, and this is a reading of the Skeletal System. I'm joined here by I'm joined here by Alex as I go for a dramatic reading of the Skeletal System. First part, Living Bones. Often in horror movies, a mad scientist works frantically in his lab while a complete human skeleton hangs silently in the corner. When looking at a skeleton, you might think that bones are dead structures made of rock-like materials. Although these bones are no longer living, the bones in your body are very much alive. Each is a living organ made of several different tissues. Like all other living tissues in your body, bone tissue is made of cells that take in nutrients and use energy. Bone cells have the same needs as other body cells. Function of your skeletal system. All the bones in your body make up your skeletal system, as shown in Figure 1. This delightful Figure 1, where it shows someone's skeleton looking right through their skin. Somewhat creepy. And the framework of your body has 5 major functions. 1. The skeleton gives shape and support to your body. 2. The bones protect your internal organs from, for example, ribs surround the heart and lungs, and the skull encloses the brain. 3. Major muscles are attached to bone and help them move. 4. Blood cells are formed in the center of many bones in soft tissue called red marrow. The major quantities of calcium and phosphorus compounds are stored in the skeleton for later use. Calcium and phosphorus make bones hard. Let's go to the next page. Bone structure. Several characteristics of bones are noticeable. The most obvious are the differences in their size and shapes. The shapes of bones are inherited. However, a bone shape can change when the attached muscles are used. Looking at a bone through a magnifying glass will show you that it isn't smooth. Bones have bumps, edges, round ends, rough spots, and many pits and holes. Muscles and ligaments attach to some of the bumps and pits. In your body, blood vessels and nerves enter and leave through the holes. Internal characteristics, how a bone looks from the inside, and external characteristics, how the same bone looks from the outside, are shown in Figure 2. Yes, Figure 2. A living bone surface is covered with a tough, tight-fitting membrane called a periosteum. Small blood vessels in the periosteum carry nutrients into the bone. Cells involved in the growth and repair of bone also are found in the periosteum. Under the periosteum are 2 different types of bone tissues, compact and spongy bone. Compact bone. Directly under the periosteum is a hard, strong layer called compact bone. Compact bone gives bone strength. It has a framework containing deposits of calcium and phosphate. These deposits make the bone hard. Bone cells and blood vessels are also found in this layer. This framework is living tissue, and even though it's hard, it keeps bone from being too rigid, brittle, or easily broken. And there's a delightful graphic there with spongy bone, marrow cavity, compact bone, the arteries, the veins. It's all showed right there to show that bone is a living part of you. Next page, spongy bone. That's fun to say, spongy bone. Spongy bone is located toward the end of the long bones, such as those in your thigh and upper arm. Spongy bone has many small spaces and make bones lightweight. If all your bones were completely solid, you would have greater mass. Yes?
How you doing?
Doing a podcast right now.
Have fun.
Thanks for visiting.
Have fun.
See ya. That was an interruption. Now back to our reading. I'm totally putting this whole thing on the YouTube.
Yeah.
Let's start again. Spongy bone. Spongy bone is located towards the ends of the long bones, such as those in your thigh and upper arms. Spongy bone has many small open spaces that make bones lightweight. If all your bones were completely solid, you'd have greater mass. In the centers of long bones are large openings called cavities. These cavities and spaces in spongy bone are filled with substances called marrow. Some marrow is yellow and is composed of fat cells. Red marrow produces red blood cells at an incredible rate of 2 to 3 million cells per second. It's exciting.
I think I have to go.
Is it time to go?
I think so. I don't know what time the clock on. I always forget.
Oh, the clock's right now. No, we got like 9 minutes left.
Oh, I thought you said it. So if somebody comes in right now.
That's okay. We're still recording. This is the worst video I've ever made. I'm just gonna keep pushing right through. Next section. And for those of you out there, my 27 subscribers, thanks for your patience with this video. I hope you enjoy listening to it. For the one kid who actually listens to this instead of reading it. Cartilage. The end of bones are covered with a smooth, slippery, thick layer of tissue called cartilage. Cartilage does not contain blood vessels or minerals. Nutrients are delivered to cartilage by nearby blood vessels. Cartilage is a flexible, important to joints because it acts as a shock absorber. It also makes movement easier by reducing friction that will be caused by bones rubbing together. Cartilage can be damaged because of disease, injury, or years of use. People with damaged cartilage experience pain when they move. You're not kidding. Almost done. No way was. This is a long read. Bone formation. Although your bones have some hard features, they also have not always been this way. Months before your birth, your skeleton was made of cartilage. Gradually, the cartilage broke down and was replaced by bone, as illustrated in Figure 3. Bone-forming cells are called osteoblasts. It's one of my favorite words, osteoblast. Deposit minerals, calcium, and phosphorus into your bones, making the bone tissue hard. At birth, your skeleton was made up of more than 300 bones. Shocking, isn't it? As you develop, some bones fused and grew together, and now you only have about 206 bones. Healthy bone tissue is always being formed and reformed. Osteoblasts build up bone. Another type of bone cell is called osteoclast. Break down bone tissues in other areas of the bone. This is a normal process in a healthy person. When the osteoclasts break down bones, they release calcium and phosphorus into the bloodstream. This process maintains the elements of calcium and phosphorus in your blood at about the levels they need to be. These elements are necessary for working your body, including the movement of your muscles. Next page. Joints. What will you do during your lunch break today? Well, I'll probably sit right here in my chair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right over here.
Yep. You may sit at a table, pick up a sandwich, bite off a piece of a carrot, and chew it, or walk to class. All these motions are possible because your skeleton has joints. Any place where two or more bones come together is a joint. The bones making up healthy joints are kept far enough apart by a thin layer of cartilage so that they do not rub against each other as they move. The bones are held in place by these joints by a tough band of tissue called a ligament. Many joints, such as your knee, are held together by more than one ligament. Muscles move bones by moving joints. Oh, interesting. We're getting down to the final pages. In movable joints. Refer to Figure 4 as you learn about the different types of joints. Joints are broadly classified as immovable or movable. An immovable joint allows only little or no movement, and the joints of bones in your skull and pelvis are classified as immovable joints. Movable joints. All movement, including somersaulting and working on the controls of a video game, require movable joints. A movable joint allows the body to make a wide range of motions. There are several types of movable joints: pivot, ball and socket, hinge, and gliding. In a point pivot joint, one bone rotates in a ring of another bone that does not move. Turning your head is an example of a pivot movement. Okay, I can turn my pivoting. Okay, good. A ball and socket joint consists of a bone with a rounded end that fits into a cup-like cavity on another bone. A ball and socket joint provides a wide range of motion that a pivot joint does not. That is why your legs and arms can swing in almost any direction. The third type of joint is a hinge joint. This joint has a back and forth movement like hinges on a door. Elbows, knees, fingers have hinge joints. Hinge joints have a smaller range of motion than ball and socket joints. They are not dislocated as easily or pulled apart. The ball and socket joint can be. A fourth type of joint is a gliding joint in which one part of the bone glides over the other part. Gliding joints also move in back and forth motions and are found between your wrists, ankles, and between vertebrae. Gliding joints are used the most in your body. You can write a word using a joystick or step without using a gliding joint. Finally, at the last page, moving smoothly. When you rub two pieces of chalk together, their surfaces begin to wear away, and they get reshaped. Without the protection of cartilage at the end of your bones, they also would wear away at the joints. Cartilage helps make joints movement easier. It reduces friction and allows bones to slide more easily over each other, shown in Figure 5. Pads of cartilage called discs are located between the vertebrae of your back. They act as a cushion that prevents injury to your spinal cord. A fluid that comes from nearby blood vessels also lubricates the joint. Common joint problems. Arthritis is a common joint problem. The term arthritis describes more than 100 different diseases that can damage the joints. About 1 of every 7 people in the United States suffers from arthritis. That's a lot more than I thought. All forms of arthritis begin with the same symptomatic pain, stiffness, and swelling in the joints. 2 types of arthritis are osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. Osteoarthritis results when cartilage breaks down because of years of use. Rheumatoid arthritis is an ongoing condition in which your body's immune system tries to destroy its own tissue. And that concludes our reading from the textbook, Human Body Systems of the Skeletal System. I'd like to thank my co-host today, Allie. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the special guest stars who wanted in during this recording. And see this on YouTube. Please subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications for more fun from textbook reading with Mr. Ruby.